Okay, let's jump right in. Welcome to this explainer. If you're here, you're probably the kind of person who wants to know how the most rigorous, high stakes industries on the planet actually pull it off. Well, today we are breaking down a concept called upstream excellence. Specifically, we're looking at how to prevent defects through something known as quality by design. Now, I want you to tuck that word upstream in your back pocket. We're going to be coming back to it a lot because it is literally the master key to this whole conversation. Listen to this. Quality cannot be inspected into a product. Just let that sink in for a second. I wanted to hit you with this right out of the gate because it totally flips the script on what we usually assume about manufacturing, quality assurance, and, well, safety. Think about it. Our gut reaction is usually, hey, if we want a better product, just hire more inspectors, right? Just look at it closer at the end. But no, the source material tells us that's completely backwards. You absolutely cannot inspect quality into something after it's already been built. No way.
Which brings us to our first major concept, the illusion of inspection.
So, despite the massive life or death stakes in fields like pharmaceuticals, organizations still fall into this massive trap. They rely on inspections to catch issues that honestly should have been prevented way earlier in the pipeline. It's kind of funny, actually. We feel so incredibly safe when we see a huge team of inspectors at the very end of an assembly line, but that safety, it's often just an illusion. When you treat inspections like a reactive safety net, you're basically just waiting for a failure to happen and then crossing your fingers that your net actually catches it before it ships out. The alternative we're looking at today is a total 180. It's about building that quality from the ground up, literally from day one.
Let's move on to a tale of two questions and talk about this massive paradigm shift.
You know, the difference between a mediocre organization and an absolutely excellent one, it usually boils down to the kind of questions they ask themselves. It's a battle of mindsets. On one side, you've got the old-school reactive method, quality by inspection, going head-to-head with the optimal upstream solution on the other side, which is quality by design. And hey, these aren't just corporate buzzwords. They represent two fundamentally different ways of looking at how the world is built. Let's break down how this actually plays out in real life. Under the old quality by inspection mindset, there's really only one question anyone is asking. Did we catch the problem? Now think about that for a second. Think about how limiting that is. It is 100% reactive. You're already assuming the defect exists, and your only quote-unquote win is managing to find it. It's literally hunting for a needle in a haystack. And the crazy part? If you don't find the needle, you just pat yourself on the back and assume the hay is perfectly safe.
But when you switch to quality by design, the question completely changes. You start asking, why was the problem even possible in the first place? See the difference there? It's huge. It forces this proactive, deep-level engagement with the whole system. You're not just digging around for that needle anymore. You're asking, wait, why did somebody bring a bunch of needles into the barn to begin with? You're diving into the absolute deepest root causes of a defect so you can engineer it completely out of existence.
Okay, so let's look at the blueprint for prevention and see how this actually works. To really see this in action, the pharmaceutical industry is the perfect example, mostly because patient safety means the stakes are literally life and death. The most rock-solid organizations out there interlock 5 specific pillars to build what is basically an impenetrable shield against defects. First up, process understanding. You gotta know every single variable inside and out. Next, rigorous risk management. This lets them anticipate exactly where a failure might pop up. And because they know that, they can install the third pillar, preventive controls. These are actual, physical, and systemic roadblocks against those risks. Then, they keep up continuous monitoring while the process is actually running, not waiting until the end of the line, which guarantees the 5th pillar. Every single tweak is based on data-driven decisions. When you weave all 5 of these together, you aren't just hoping the final product is good, you've designed a system where producing a bad product becomes mathematically impossible.
This brings us to the ultimate quality goal.
So, why does all of this matter so much? Because whether we're talking about pharma, continuous improvement, or just building a great culture anywhere, this shift completely redefines what assurance actually means. The goal isn't to find defects. I know, we've all been conditioned to think that a stellar quality control team is the one catching all the mistakes. But listen, if you're finding a mistake, the system has already failed. The actual goal is to prevent them. This is absolutely crucial, and if you take away just one thing from this explainer, let it be this. A true culture of quality starts way, way before any inspector even walks into the room. It has to be woven into the very DNA of the design itself. It all builds up to this one beautiful reality. The best inspection finding is the one that never happens, because the risk was eliminated upstream. I just love that. It perfectly captures the ultimate quiet victory in manufacturing. When things go right, there are no flashing red lights, no rejected batches, no frantic scrambling to fix things. It's just smooth, predictable, totally safe execution. Why? Because proactive system design did exactly what it was supposed to do. The threat was neutralized right at the source. So as we wrap up this explainer today, I want to leave this question just hanging in the air for you. Which approach creates more sustainable quality, detection or prevention? Next time you're looking at a process, maybe it's in a massive factory, maybe it's in your own business, or honestly, maybe it's just a routine in your daily life. I challenge you to shift your mindset. Don't ask how you can get better at catching your mistakes. Ask how you can design the system so those mistakes never happen in the first place. Thanks so much for joining me today, and keep chasing that upstream excellence.